Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Welcome
Good morning.
to FYI for your
Welcome,
information.
welcome.
I am Shared Duncan
Sherrod.
this morning. It is Tuesday, the 21st of June, 2022.
It is.
And
Believe
we
it or
are
not.
here with
Believe it or not,
you.
it's Tuesday already. Believe it or
It
not.
is Tuesday already.
Welcome, guys. Good to see each and every one of you. Another day. Another day to get a couple of things right. Hope you guys are pressing towards those goals for the month. Judy's almost gone. Judy's birthday is coming up, 23rd. Yep.
It's 2 days off.
2 days off. 2 days off, folks. Big number. You're going to hear a big number there.
Big number of 25.
Yeah, big number of 25. The big 25. The big number. Good to have all of you guys with us this morning. The big 25. Good to have you folks.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure to be here as always with you folks in the morning. You wonderful people. I've been looking at the YouTubers and folks that join us through YouTube.
They don't waste time on YouTube.
They don't waste no time.
YouTube folks don't waste no time at all. Really happy to have them with us.
I said, Warren is saying good morning on the first day of summer, the longest day of the year, 15 hours, 5. I missed the rest of that comment, 5 minutes. I guess he was going to say.
So officially summer.
Yes, it's officially summer. So thank you for that reminder, Warren. You know, it's a summer every day, all day here in Guyana. So
officially summer.
This is officially summer for you guys over there, and enjoy. I guess that's the most I can say about that. I know everyone is out and about doing what they have to do, and during summer, that's when everybody gets out over there. I know my friends are the ones that's always saying, "Oh well, it's summer, so we're gonna be getting out now." Usually, we're
locked in.
Listen, we don't have that challenge over here.
We outside every day.
We're outside.
Every chance we have.
Any issue. Kamal Pasade, Kamal, how are you doing over there? I see Kamal saying, Kamal, these things are going by so fast. Warren says 15 hours, 5 minutes of daylight, the longest day of the year.
Yep. And Kamal's going to be with us this week, believe it or not.
Yes, of course.
Kamal's going to be with us this week. Always brings a different flavor to the program.
Yes.
Yep. Love it.
Uniqueness,
love it.
You know, and the conversations, we love to have the diversification in conversation.
Correct.
Everybody bringing a different aspect to the conversation. So
correct.
It's also important. That's why I love to be in the comment section to make sure that I get your comments as well, because you have your own distinct feeling towards issues, and I love to have that feed into the discussion on a daily basis.
Your own distinct flavor.
Yep.
To add to this morning, but
flavors.
All distinct flavors. I know we want to say welcome to those folks who are now going through to some other pages. So welcome to FYI, guys, those of you who are now joining us. Yes. Beatrice Selby, good to see you, Beatrice. Good to see you. Kamal says you both look fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
I know she really made me, but she wanted.
Well, that's the truth.
Gwen Anderson and Pollyanna Schultz. Good to see you folks. Trust the day is off to a great start, and I trust that you guys are, you're getting your feet wet into whatever's on your agenda for this morning.
Naomi is there on you. Hello, Sherd. You always late.
Oh yes, just I like to send Naomi.
Naomi.
So send you out. I always send the little ones. I always send the young ones. Naomi morning. Good to see you. George Braffett is joining us. He's watching from, is it Aberdeen, Maryland? Wow.
Yes. That's what I'm seeing at this
all over the world. All over the world, the guys are joining us. Great to have you.
Edward Gonzalez is joining us this morning also.
Yep.
Edward, I'd love to hear some more conversation, get some more conversation coming out of Edward as to what is going on over there and issues that you would like us to raise. And so
Edward, her number is 000. She wants some more conversation out of you. You can send the number. How are you guys doing today? How was Tuesday started? Tuesday the 21st. We ebbing closer to month end. Believe it or not, half the month is already gone. June.
Cher's birthday is on the 30th.
We were talking about half the month in May.
You're talking about these things.
Right? Yeah, the birthday is coming up. But no big numbers here.
Oh, goodness.
No big numbers on this side. But a birthday nonetheless. And birthdays are usually I love my birthdays, very quiet and reflective. Pensive.
Quiet and reflective. I choose not to reflect on birthdays. I don't want to remember anything. I don't want to think about how old I'm getting. I just want to
get past it.
I just want to get it over with.
Get past it.
I want a birthday to just come and just go.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing when you're young, you want to be old. And when you're old, you want to be young. We're discontented.
Sharad, I want me to Sue, he is the only middleman.
I want to be top man. So y'all know some of y'all know y'all able, Now we want to be top man. Well, we can try to arrange that. We can try to arrange that. We try to facilitate. We have open door policy.
An open door policy.
Open door policy. We try to, yeah, we try to help.
Yeah, I think as we move on and we diversify and the more we get you guys involved, I think we're gonna get to the point where we can have one of our FYI family members seated here to bring some aspect and flavor
Yes,
to the
yes.
conversation
Very soon.
altogether.
Very
Yes.
soon. We're gonna try to have all that. Very, very soon.
Yes, yes.
But good to
yes,
have.
definitely.
Is it Wilhan Grant?
I see
Wilhan
Warren.
Grant. Pollyann Shorts, Warren Figuera says this birthday can be very special. Yes, true, Warren. True. That's very exaggerated. This birthday can be very special. Very, very. I agree with you.
I see Warren there.
Yeah. Mr. McFoy, we see you as well. Is it Ian?
You see Don Cook is saying
What
Don Cook
was
is
Don
on
saying?
the Monday that I'm gonna be 16, you know.
Yeah. 16 years young.
That's
Laverne
how it
Joseph,
is.
we see you as well. And Sandra Brotherson and Adam Henry, all you wonderful folks. Please take delight in sharing the broadcast for us and smash that emoji button as well, folks. You got to partner with me. Let me go down the road. Golly God is here.
Of course.
Golly God. If Golly God is here, I mean God's is somewhere around the bed. Julian Mars.
And GT Bad Girl.
GT Bad Girl. Shea Anthony's here. I see Anna Phillips is here too, joining us from YouTube.
Where does these names come from? Like,
Yeah,
where did
there's a
this
book.
thing come
There's a
from?
book. There's a
Golly
names book.
God. Like, where did they
Right?
come from?
There's
Like,
a
what
freaky
is
names
that?
book, and
A
it
freaky
just
names
because
book.
freaky names.
Like, what's the name of the MV? Was it
MV
Militia?
Listen, like
I don't know why.
The MV
but
militia. It
when
sounds
I
like a
heard-
start time house.
MV
I can
Militia.
take a walk at the MV militia.
When I read the name, it just had this
Thing about it. Tell
I
us what
don't
you
know.
know. This is
I
the
don't
boat
know.
they just bought from India for 12 million US. We like it, people. We like it. What's his name? The minister, the bishop. He said we got money. Is what you sure? For 12 million US. You know, I saw David Patterson said on social media. It's the first time he saw after the launch of a boat. People don't post the picture of the boat; they post the model. You know, it's weird. It's weird. They bought the model of the boat.
But come on, even at
Huh?
that case, the minister in question there,
The minister question.
Mr. Edgel himself, he comes out and he sits on the Public Accounts Committee with me. And he's one of those that likes to drill into these matters, right?
You like to
So
drill,
I
huh?
can't wait to hear
The MV militia.
when-
How you name the boat like that?
No, I can't wait to hear the when the
That's what
audit
the
is
name.
done all together, and you show that I expect to see something similar to a side by side photo what we ordered. And what
But I was coming
received.
there. It's like I see often on social media people post like a dress you see online.
Yes, what I ordered, what I got. Yes.
Y'all know a Chinese large is different from a large. Well, I don't know.
True, very true.
I don't know. I saw the model and that model looked nothing like the actual boat. Right?
So,
Even the Chinese don't want to. I see Chinese just dash the boat in the water. So MV Militia beat out. That boat looked like it's related to the Jumpy Bird family.
well, probably that's what they're looking at. They're probably
I think
looking
it's
at
like-
it and say
yes.
if this is a standard, if this
Thematically,
board is a standard,
Jumpy
then
board and
well,
Jumpy
they need
boat.
to come in line with that.
From
standard.
Jumpy board to Jumpy boat. Yep. I think that's a good one.
See-
Steve Esteban.
So Golly God is telling me that Golly means I am from object poverty.
Oh, I see.
You know?
Welcome.
Yes.
Steve Esteban, is it West? Says the boat should be named the MV Charandas. It resembles him too.
I don't even
The MV,
speak.
the MV Charandas. He who shall not be spoken of. The
I don't
MV
even
Charandas.
speak, so,
Yep.
That's crazy.
How are we
That's
doing
bad.
otherwise, Judah? How are we this morning?
Oh, we're doing great.
You're
We're
doing
doing great. I think that we have.
And this is not we like when women talk about we doing great, like it's like the show we
How women talk about we.
we we are doing great.
What do you mean?
You know, all right. I can spell that figures now. Who can see will hear.
I'm sailing on this as
The MV militia.
Yeah,
How are we doing?
Better than the MV militia.
Better than the MV militia.
Everybody's doing better than the MV militia. Guys, I want to let's go directly into the discussion as quickly as we possibly can. We have still a lot to discuss, and And the issue,
Very much so.
the largest issues that we can think about, things are not going to be swept under the carpet. We're going to make sure the conversations are kept out there alive, so that everyone gets a chance to weigh in
Yeah.
as we
Yeah.
as we proceed with these discussions.
Yeah.
We have to touch on the morning paper, guys. A very, very bit of sad news coming out
Where we
there,
starting?
out of the morning papers, with bodies of cousins, 29-year-old Devon and 18-year-old Sherwin, found after the Pomeroon River collision. And we've been talking a little bit that prior, that we've been noting the increased numbers of river accidents and all of that, along
rivaling road accidents, which is already terrible.
Yep. But very, very sad, our sincere condolences to their families. It's absolutely sad that we have to report on it. And we continue to ask and caution people to be extremely careful. Be extremely careful when you go out there on a daily basis. Do everything possible to make sure that you avoid any of those altogether.
Correct. When I heard about this mishap, I couldn't believe it. Yet again, it's like every week now you have a boat collision, somebody goes overboard, somebody's drunk, that kind of stuff. It's unbelievable what's happening. And again, this has to have leadership from the front. But if you are distracted with Sue, how we can do that? If you're busy making deals, I don't know. Sue, please take a look at this, because Sue has their full support
on every matter.
So Sue might as well take a stab at this too.
I was taking a look through the employees at Foreign Affairs and so on, but I didn't really check. I didn't see Sue's name anywhere.
You didn't see Sue's name? Probably goes by the alias.
Oh, true. Very true.
Probably goes by alias. But Sue could take a look at this, because this needs some attention. This weekly basis, you have this some river tragedy happening. Something's happening on the road, and we say that those are the pandemic. It's the abuse you have. The assault on women in this country.
Correct.
That's probably the top. The second most is the road accidents you have, and then the third, very close third, is what you have happening on the rivers.
And where do you put corruption?
Well, corruption is the top.
Yeah, this is your
up top.
Issue.
Yeah.
Everything else falls.
They don't call it corruption now. This called, we gotta have another name, because it comes on the processing fee and consultation fee and those kinds of things, visiting fee. Right?
It's called lottery altogether.
Or maybe you just pay for a short time, a visitor's fee, right? To come in by BJ and so on.
Our country, it is, I think that we're getting back to a point that persons are not proud to be labeled as Guyanese when you see all of the negativity that comes with that.
When you see your own vice president.
Right? So it is a very, very, very
live and living colors. So I can manage things on the government side. Look, we coming wrong to that. We coming wrong to that. We coming wrong to it.
We're not gonna rest it.
Hold on. We coming wrong. We coming wrong, guys. We coming wrong.
Give out on that. As we continue on morning papers, guys, we see the police internal affairs unit probing report of Norton being trailed. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, well, I saw an additional report of that that says that the commissioner of police acting,
that is correct.
He has confirmed that this probe is going on. Remember, he didn't know who ordered this trailing of the leader of the opposition, Mr. Robbie Norton.
That is correct.
He didn't know, and I should be asked the crime chief when the blood, he wouldn't know either. Right? It's just elements in the police force doing what they want to do.
And I'm seeing it in the morning papers today. As I said, Hickens confirmed probe of trailing of Norton.
All right. And Ramkaran says it was intimidation. I believe so. We believe so. It was intimidation. Or you could have policemen, right? Rank and file, right? Policemen trailing the leader of the opposition, and nobody in the police force said no. Till this day, we don't know who really and truly sent the death squad, the black clothes, who sent the SWAT team to Orange Boston. So they know. Police commissioner don't know. Who's the other guy in charge of operations now? His name slips me. He didn't know either. He holds Hickens' post. The post that Hickens had prior to this. The command of operations. And so he didn't know. Nobody knows. Right? They're getting like Frank over there in the police was the suspect.
Yeah.
But they really know.
I think one of the things that needs to be highlighted, and Ramkaran is saying here, Ramkaran says it was intimidation. And I think it was more so an attempt to intimidate. But you have to don't know Aubrey Norton to believe that trailing him around could intimidate him. So there's a lot when I think when you are sitting in such a seat as Mr. Norton, he expects the unexpected at any point in time, and he is there geared and ready to stand
That's
up
why he confronted
and
them.
defend. Exactly.
That's why Sandrine Bay, that's why he confronted them.
Exactly. And that's where I'm getting to. That's
Marlon
why
Chalmers?
he did not just go and say, "Oh,
We
go
didn't
to
play.
Susie. Go and confront these two. Like,
Yeah.
why are you trailing me? Who sent you?
Yeah. They don't come around with
On what
funny like
account?
that.
Yeah, but so much for us to look at right now. We speak about all the evidence piling up and all the resemblance that we're seeing and that we can identify and say these are actions of a police state, and we don't want to get to that point as a country. We spoke about the fact of police officers actually visiting Starbuck News also after they would have reported on a matter involving the minister. So all of those things, all of those indications, we have to be very conscious. So these things are things that needs to be documented.
Correct.
And everyone needs to see, because there can be an alarming number of instances that spells a police state, and then persons don't want to properly investigate in totality. Why are these things happening?
Correct is right. Correct is right.
A lot of work needs to be put in at the level of the top, from the level of the top cop, as to whether or not he's in complete control
Agreed.
over the force and all of that. So that's the main issue, because we can't live in a country in which the top cop is unaware of so many things happening on within the police force, rather. So very, very, very serious. All of these matters are. We're going to continue to follow them. We're going to continue to document them, and we're going to be able to show a very clear picture and pattern as to what is going on.
Villain and Kearns, who joined us. Good to see Idol Rodney. Idol, how are you doing? Really great to have you aboard this morning. Indrani Lekaram, good to see you. Of course, the beautiful Kamal Prasad is with us.
Kamal says it's national intimidation and harassment.
Yes, agreed, Kamal. Agreed.
And Kamal is joining there. Kamal being the VC of region number 7. There was
the vice chair.
The vice chair. Yeah. There was a particular matter that we spoke about in depth, even there with the police and the level of behavior, even there in Baltica. The young man actually his life being threatened, by a police officer, for a minor traffic offense.
Correct.
A minor traffic offense, a police officer threatened to kill him and all of that.
Correct.
So a lot of things needs to be documented for us to actually put a clear pitch and pattern, because sometimes when you isolate these things, people tend to lose them along the way.
Correct. But what else we have in the morning papers happening? What else is happening out here?
I want to go into the morning brew and let's
go right ahead.
What is going on at the international front, because quite interestingly, what is going on the international front right now. And guys, as you will see it there, Colombia elects the first Black woman VP.
Wow.
Very
interesting.
Marquez, who vows to stand for nobodies. And there you see her there, a very historical moment altogether there in Colombia. And we say, congratulations. We send out our congratulations there to Francia Marquez, and hopefully that she actually stands up to that vow, to stand up for nobody.
Yeah, the people who you don't think matter.
Yeah.
We need folks to stand up for them. The small man.
That's how we refer to it here. We say the small man.
We need folks who can stand for the small man. The people who don't get in the room with Sue and Jack Neo and Chinese investors and so on. Right? The small people in this country that can get a little 2x4 piece of land to knock up a house to give themselves a shelter. We need folks who can stand up for them.
That is facing the big announcement of a $60,000
minimum wage. We need folks who can stand up for them. And Colombia is a beautiful country. I had the privilege of visiting Colombia. Beautiful country, beautiful culture, lovely people. I'd love to go back sometime.
Well, I would love to go sometime. When I was a child, I used to. And this is perception. Perception is very heavy, especially how your country is perceived at an international level. I don't remember when I was younger, I used to always be skeptical, especially with the reporting that was on the front about Colombia and all of that. But to hear persons say, as I grew older, this is a really nice country. I actually have colleagues going and live in Colombia, trying to change your perception. But that's why it's important for the perception even of our country to be
we had a perception of Jaguar, but then the reality hit me and marry, and we see that things is true. But I was privileged to go up on a high mountain there, where they have a monastery, Mount Montserrat, I think it is. and actually you feel so much closer to God, honest to God. We need some, I feel like some of that. The miasma that is becoming this country gets you after a while, you know. It gets you after, when you see what them boys doing to this country, it gets you after a while, and you need to be a little close to God to deal with it. Honestly, you need that time away and just refresh yourself. And you come back and you wade into this madness here. But historic moment for people of color
Yes.
in this way in
But
Colombia.
not only that,
Wish her the best.
I think she stands on a platform of so many different things, and one of the things is that she's a single mother and a former housekeeper. Single mother and former housekeeper, and I wanted to resonate with persons. You know, a lot of times I speak about the fact that there are so many great minds out there, and that is not being seen. Voices of intellect that you don't hear from, because the persons that dominate the top spaces are persons with a space between their ears, and many times, like I'm just trying to be factual, and there are phenomenal individuals out there that you persons would normally just look by when it comes to representation of such nature.
But who making a difference?
Exactly.
But who
so
are
now
making a
you're seeing
difference?
a former housekeeper, you know, a former housekeeper actually being elected as the vice president there. So absolutely phenomenal.
Good things happen every day.
And a single mother, and as a woman, I have to say that when it comes to being a single mother involved in politics and all of that, it takes a different level of stamina for you to get everything done. And I think that this is a tremendous, tremendous achievement for women altogether. I know for the Black community, tremendous, tremendous, and for persons that did not have the ability, you know, there's so many housekeepers out there that would look to this and say, you know, my life don't have to stop here. I can elevate. You don't know your capacity, and I always say, continue to challenge yourself to be great. The only failure, the only certainty for failure is for you to never try, and that's the bottom line. So keep trying, keep
it's like
pushing,
Sue.
keep persevering.
It's like Sue Twitter. Sue started as a tenant, you know, then Sue elevated friend till Sue getting all the support, you see?
I'm not gonna share the Black face right now.
You know, Sue elevate overnight from tenant. That's my tenant. I don't know if Father gave me a little squeeze. You know, from tenant overnight, things are happening every day. This is a land of dreams. You know, Jaglio said it in the like I was saying, way back in this every chance again.
No, because that's our big issue.
Said it in
that's
the,
not our big issue
Jaglio
today.
said
That's
it in
our
the
big issue
documentary.
overall.
He said people come to this country to make money. Money got made. So move from tenant. He gets all of his support. Minos, what Sue's do?
I don't have a problem. Listen, I'm gonna come off of this. Congratulations to Colombia. Congratulations there. But I want to come away and just make a statement on that very statement that you just made. That it was said that money, basically, you know, persons are coming chasing money, and and everybody wants to make money, and that is my thing, and that's where I want to. I always comment on the fact that you have to project a level playing field so that poor people have an opportunity to make money too. It's not about you just inviting your friends and family and favorites into the country to make sure that they are reaping the benefits of the wealth and from the labor, the blood and sweat and tears of our foreparents, so that you can go out there now and benefit and live a luxurious life. When persons, poor people in this country, that their ancestors did everything in their power for them to have a good life, for them to have freedom altogether, is languishing in poverty. No, I have a big
something wrong with that.
I have
something wrong with that.
That is what goes on when a country is completely corrupt, as Guyana is right now. That is what is going on. So that is our issue altogether. Let us not get into it too much before we reach it.
Another thing that's making the brew, another thing that's brewing.
Yes.
Y'all give Mia?
Mia, get well soon.
Get well soon,
Mia Motley, their Prime Minister of Barbados, she has tested positive for COVID-19, has been reported there in all the press, and we say get well soon.
Get it well. COVID is not an easy thing.
It's not. Like, I've been there, like I said.
2020
was my year.
Couple of days recently, and it's not a good thing, you know. But get well soon, Mia. Get well soon. All right? Get well soon. Keep her in your prayers, folks. In your prayers. What else we got? What is brewing today? That
But
thing's brewing.
as we're looking at it right now, we see the EU. Well, the EU launches an armband initiative for road safety, and of course we're going to
This is
commend.
what we've been talking
Yes, we're
about.
going to commend all
Positive
efforts.
steps needed. Anything you're doing to help
Yep.
stop road fatalities, we can
Mhm.
take it. Because, as we see the school children here, our mind goes back to that young lady in Region 3.
Yes,
That student on her way home, a car passing,
little girl.
stopped on the pedestrian crossing
Mhm.
for her to pass. But the police, they don't stop for that. Right? And she was hit by the police vehicle. And we know the end result of that. They paid, police force paid for the wake, they paid for the funeral, and looks like that's it. 12 years old. 12 years old, that young lady. And she's gone. So, we again, I want to commend these efforts by the European Union in Guyana, the European Union delegation in Guyana, and the ambassador for spearheading this effort here. They put on some,
Yeah.
reflector bands on
Correct.
the kids, and so you're able to see them clearly. Because some of y'all is wilots, you're able to see them very clearly and hopefully prevent accident.
Yeah.
Right? But I was coming just before you intervene. It's coming along Mandela Avenue the other day, and in typical fashion, again, a car stops for some students to pass on the pedestrian crossing. Right? A jerk in perceiving, in discerning why the car stopped, and when being concerned, we beating on the inside, the outside, and that man hit the student on the pedestrian crossing. I mean, he applied his brakes, but wasn't enough to stop the car before it entered that pedestrian crossing area, and hit that young lady. Thankfully, it wasn't, fatal, or to an extent where she received any major injuries. Right? I saw them with my own eyes on Mandela Avenue and Durban Street quite recently. Again, it's the kind of carelessness and recklessness that people are driving with. It's quite shocking. Whoever send their child to school, folks, I know we get it hard. I understand we have it hard, right? And I'll say this on two fronts. If you get a chance to pack lunch for your kids, do that. Prevent them from having to go to some shop, having to come out of the schoolyard, period.
Yeah.
Because I noticed when that child got up and, folks helped her dust her clothes off and so on, she went across to that food place that's nearby there on Durban Street, which meant I think she probably was going for lunch or, right? The other side of that is teachers. Like sending your children out, run to the shop quick over, buy something, buy a little drink or a snack or something like that. I hate to think a teacher was sending that student out. She was with another student, but she ended up in a fast food place at the head of Durban Street there. We got to take precaution. I know you mightn't be able to afford, sometimes based on people's schedule, you might say, hold a little lunch money or something like that. Then if you could prevent your children from having to use the roads, that's what I'm getting at. To go to the shop to buy a little lunch or a little snack at break time or something like that, I would try. Because they got some white loads over there. Them boys in K, just in similar fashion, a car stop, But this guy beating on the outside, he why the car stop at this junction here. And by the time he applied the brakes, he kind of just bumped her. Sad.
Yes, and recklessness, carelessness, and lawlessness has been described there. The words used by Kamal Prasad there to describe what is going on the roadway is absolutely correct. And I'm going to go back and say that the only way for us to arrest this issue, to curb the problem altogether, is to have severe penalties when it comes to misuse of the road. That is the only way we're going to look at it, and you have to associate the cost with these things. It can't just be a slap on the wrist for persons. And again, corruption within the system is the overarching reason why these things continue. Corruption within the system. Someone is stopped for speed, and you pass a little bribe, and you're on your way like nothing never happened before. So that's the way it is. But I commend the effort by the European Union and delegation here that has launched the armband initiative, and basically it's going to see 17,000 reflective armbands being distributed across the country. All right.
Nice.
So
you might need some for adults too. I hope you can know where this is selling, because I think I might want a pair myself, because when them guys coming through, you just gotta
because a lot
use every
I notice a
precautions.
lot of the persons on bikes that's been riding bikes, and so they're
Using
using the
reflective,
reflective
yes.
jackets and so forth,
Yeah, I'm
because
driving and
it's
I
so
want one
simple,
myself.
right? So very much so, be careful on the roadways, be careful on the roadways.
Not
Yes.
interesting story we're following. Not interesting story brewing here. You know, it says a particular judge is apologetic as a murder accused Marlon Garnett walks after 5 years behind bars. This got so many layers to it. You know, this might need its own hour just to unpack, as Randolph Critchlow is one to say. To just unpack on this, 5 years on remand, and this man walks free. That doesn't say on both sides of it. Let me see if we can capture both sides that he isn't guilty, right? And it doesn't say either that that he is guilty, because what is missing here is evidence. That's what the report indicates. That's what the guys are telling us who researched these issues for us. That for want of evidence, he had pleaded guilty to manslaughter, and for the want of evidence, after 6 years on remand. I mean, but let's assume, let's presume regularity, as Kemraj Ramjitan says, and innocence until proven guilty. That this man is innocent. How you get back 6 years? Is 6 years, right? 6 years of your life, 5 years. How do you get that back? Huh? How do you get that back? 5 years of your life behind bars, you know.
I think one of the things that I want to basically touch on a little bit is we have an issue within the system, and it has to be confronted, and that issue is basically the remand system.
Justice too long delayed.
The remand system that we have in our country, it should be completely unacceptable. It is inhumane.
Waiting for justice, 5 years.
It is inhumane to have personal remand. You having persons serve a sentence there, without actually being convicted of a crime, and you have them there. And I think that at this point in time, especially with these cases that you're seeing here, you have to address the issue that we need to change that. There must be a law in place to change it. And listen, the more involved you are in political life and representation of people, the more these things, when it's brought to your attention, you go and you do the research, because you basically want to see how it's like in other countries. What is the remand system like in other countries? And I want to say, like for Bolivia, for example,
tell us.
18 months maximum. 18 months maximum. Guatemala, pretrial detention cannot be longer than the maximum sentence of the crime someone charged for a minimum of 1 year, right? Venezuela, pretrial detention cannot be longer than the minimum sentence of a crime someone is charged for, or a maximum of 2 years. And there are so many different examples, but I think the overarching one in the UK, 182 days for an indictable offense. 182 days. That is their remand period.
Very interesting.
What are we doing here in Guyana? This is a serious matter, right? We can't just have persons serving time as though they have been convicted altogether of a crime. The system needs to be changed. And I know so many innocent persons that are in this system, because there is absolutely no push. And I want to say this also. I mean, this is maybe rubbing some people the wrong way this morning, but I want to say that I believe some persons like the system like that, because of the very fact that there is so much issues, especially when it comes to lack of evidence. There are so many persons actually believe that they are guilty altogether, and because of they may walk free because of lack of evidence and all of that. People like the system as is, so it guarantees that they're going to serve some time locked up. Listen,
5 years.
We need to get better. We need to get better as a country. This whole system that we have as it pertains to remand, it just needs to be scrapped altogether.
Rethink it.
It needs to be rethought.
Rethink it.
Let me not say scrap altogether. but it has to be improved as it is right now. And I think that when it comes to the humanitarian aspect of it, this human rights and all of that should probably intervene on this platform.
Reform.
You cannot have persons on remand for 5 years.
Reform is needed. Reform is
Reform is
needed.
definitely needed.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, guys. We're a developing nation. Yes, we have so many flaws and all of that. As it comes up, we need to address it in order to move forward. We have so many issues, so let's address them one by one and move forward.
We got to solve problems. We got to solve them, not kick them down the road. We got to solve some problems. And we got this story we want to share with you guys this morning, concerning Karishma Mangal. A very heartwarming story, A very heartwarming story. The doctors had studied, they say pull off nothing short of a miracle, Drita. When they revived teen mother, she's 18 years old.
Yes.
When they revived Karishma Mangal, who had no heartbeat, according to the report. So kudos to the doctors there at Suddy Hospital in Region 2. Kudos to them. And what a lease of life for Karishma Mangal. The report says that she had some pre-delivery, what's this fancy word here, Truth? You might make that better pronunciation of it. Eclampsia seizure, and she went into cardiac arrest 4 hours after giving birth, and we're thankful for that she has the life this morning, and certainly she would be thankful as well.
Yeah.
And you know what, let me say this as a man, that having seen up close this third time, my wife had baby, a year or two ago, but seeing it up close, I think I had a better appreciation for what women go through. Because lots of times we see women pregnant and we see a birth and we think that is it. But the range of issues that women face and potentially can face, and especially in a healthcare system like the one we have, that's not very encouraging at all. It's touch and go, really, truly.
Yeah, that's true.
From the day of conception to delivery, is touch and go. And see, when I see stories like this, I think now I have a better appreciation for it. And then when you do have the baby, you got postpartum issues and all of that. And so I think I don't understand the full range of it, but I got a better appreciation. And I could imagine, how this family must feel, having gone through all of this. But thankful nonetheless that they have the life of Karishma Mangal.
That is correct, guys. And I just want to note at this point that it was hours after she had undergone emergency C-section. So this is not someone that went through a natural child's birth process and all of that. 18 years, so a lot of complications could come. And women, the bodies of women, there's so many factors to consider, especially when women go through pregnancy. Something you're too young, or you can be or you can be too old as well to go through with a pregnancy normally, as persons would want to have. So, but I am so thankful for this story. A lot of times we just get the negatives that comes out of the healthcare system and so forth. And we know that they are medical professionals and they're doctors, nurses, and all of midwives, just making it their duty to go in there to work hard to save lives and actually attend to persons. So congratulations, and we extend our heartfelt
respect and manners.
Thank you to
respect
those
and manners.
medical personnel that were involved in making sure that this young woman is alive today, so that she will be able to take care of her little baby. So
respect and manners in that front. Which brings us to the biggest issue today. Story.
Sher could not wait for this. Listen, he was just holding back. Trust me.
Because I'm happy you said in that way. Because when you see, for instance, I saw a letter, if not a post. Okay. By folks, the big issue.
Start over. Let me see.
Getting for sale. The fallout. The morning after the night before is the morning after the morning after the night before.
Oh wow.
Yes, we're there. Right? But the story with this one is you can't drink a pill and make the problem go away, you know.
Pill. Okay, yes. I'm a
you,
little slow this
you
morning.
can't drink a pill
So,
and make the problem go away. Right? You gotta wait through this one here.
yes.
Right? It's a pill still, right?
People believe, but listen, let me get into this. I'm not gonna wait. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
People believe, and I've been seeing some desperate attempts of persons to justify and to render some sort of some words of support
Yeah.
to the individual in question about that
Vice President Barjaglio.
basic misconduct and all of that, But I want to make this. I want to make this point, At no point in time, at no point in time could you expect any different coming from those persons.
Yes.
Right? At no point
Yeah.
in time could you expect anything different coming from them. So let's just put that out there.
Yeah.
There are some persons that are trying to say, well, what's going to come out of this? Nothing's going to come out of this and all of that. Again, let me put it over very simple for persons, This is not just a Guyana issue, and I want people to understand that this is not just an issue on the ground. On the ground, we're dealing with corruption and all that was being exposed there.
Mm-hmm.
I want persons to understand that it was not so long ago that the US was speaking about a level playing field when it comes to ease of access to business, and the fact that there were complaints being made by US businessmen and so as to that not being fairly treated when they are trying to do business within Guyana.
Correct.
So don't for one second think that this is just a local issue, This is larger than you can imagine as it is right now. And persons need to understand that every single individual, especially persons involved in government in any other part of the Caribbean or the world that has been in business with Guyana, all of those persons right now are going to be operating under a microscope. All of those persons now are going to be looking to see what has been going on, We have a situation right now that we need to let Guyanese understand quite clearly the implications it has, not only for you as Guyanese at home here. Number one, I've just said it a few minutes back, that what is going on when persons come into your country, they're getting preferential treatments and all of that, whilst your benefits altogether and you are not being given a platform for you to elevate your own life and aspirations when it comes to business and making money. You are being suppressed. That is one thing to deal with at the local level. However, when it comes to our international dealings and business has been conducted with investors and multinational corporations that may want to come into the country to explore and do business here, that's a whole different story. And don't for one second think that these people are just brushing this aside.
Correct.
That is not the way it is going.
Will not happen.
And do not think that when it comes to the comments that was made through the U.S. Embassy about having a level playing field when it comes to businesses, and the fact that persons, U.S. business players have been complaining of not having the level playing field. This is not over. This is far from over.
As a matter of fact,
the tip of the iceberg.
As a matter of fact, the U.S. Embassy issued a statement yesterday. But let me start with those persons who have come out in defense of the integrity of Mr. Jaglio.
I want to speak about one of them, but I'm going to allow you to
go
first.
Kwame McCoy
that's where I wanted to go.
Has to right to say, you got integrity, you're in a bad spot. Kwame McCoy, convicted of assault, shouldn't be anywhere himself close to a ministerial portfolio. Shouldn't be anywhere close to ministerial portfolio. When he has to write your recommendation, you're in a bad spot.
But not only that, what I found most interesting about McCoy and him coming out to the defense, I found it strange because he's defending someone that refuses, basically based on action. Action speaks louder than words. That's someone that does not utilize any of the state media platforms to go and speak when he wants to speak to the people. Something that is controlled by McCoy.
Correct. He doesn't go and sit down with DPI, Department of Public Information.
So why is, and then I see,
he doesn't go and sit down with the National Communication Network. No, doesn't go to any of the radio stations that the state operates and taxpayers pay handsomely for. No, 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 no. No, he doesn't use any of those channels. He goes and he sits with a private fellow.
I see it as a desperate cry for recognition.
Right.
That look, I have your back here.
Yeah.
Look, I have your back
Yeah.
here.
So
That's
when
how
my
I saw
back,
that.
when my back needs you,
Yes.
when my back needs you, you're there. Right.
Marlon.
U.S. Embassy. Yeah, that's what he's saying. When my back needs you, Janglio, I hope you're there. I have your back now. I will guard your back. The U.S. Embassy put out a statement yesterday, and this was covered by News Source.
News Source. They give that statement.
And part of that statement read, or said rather, the U.S. has long been an advocate of anti-corruption and the rule of law. Right? Mind you, it's just incidental. They didn't tie it to nothing. Just feel like on the 20th day of June, we can put out this statement. Because they didn't link it to anything.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, we celebrated International Anti-Corruption Day, and they put out a statement asking the government
to do something. Basically.
to initiate anti-corruption initiatives.
And they highlighted that the last one that they can account for was on the tenure
Well, the only ones
of the coalition.
The only ones they could point to was under the coalition government. But here yesterday, they're talking about the U.S. being an advocate for anti-corruption and the rule of law. This is for Kwame them, because like they watch a different mini documentary by Vice News. But the U.S. Embassy, after they watch it, they say we have been an advocate for anti-corruption and the rule of law in Guyana, as well as a free press. Because you see them boys attacking Sabbath News all of a sudden. Right? A free press. We have been an advocate for a free press. The statement added that this is consistent with the laws of Guyana. Right? Accountability. They don't only stop at this thing about corruption. Right? They're advocates for anti-corruption. They said accountability is the soundest approach to maintain confidence in government and the level playing field for all investors. I think just come back from that Summit of the Americas, where they, if you wanted a pro-democracy summit, that was it. Pro-democracy, you're right in tune with transparency, accountability, good governance, everything the PPP preaches, but don't practice. Right? So this is, again, the United States Embassy here saying accountability is the soundest approach to maintain confidence in government and a level playing field for all investors.
That is correct.
Interesting. This was the morning after, the night before. Right? And when you take this pill, your problems don't go away. It's still with you. This is the U.S. Embassy speaking here. Julia.
I just want to look at the different dimension of the issue altogether.
Talk to us.
And I want to look at it from the fact, and I'm going to go back to a comment that was made from none other than Joe Biden last year. And guys, we have to look at the facts as is right now. That's why I even mentioned a few moments ago the fact that a complaint was made by businessmen coming from the U.S. to do business in Guyana, and they were basically saying that they didn't see it as they were being fairly treated. And then you saw the Vice News documentary, in which it looked at a completely different aspect of how business is done here in Guyana. But I want to remind persons of a statement that was made by Biden, in which Biden says that China wants to become the most wealthy, powerful country, but it's not going to happen on his watch. All right? I'm saying this to say, again, that don't for 1 second think that this issue that was highlighted by Vice News, that was aired by Showtime, is in isolation of all of what is being said and done there. So don't for 1 second believe that this is an issue that is just local and that it's not going to get the ear of the international community, because the ear of the international community has already been monitoring every single thing that is happening here. Guyana, we are at this unique point when it comes to business and opportunities that are available. and the fight that comes with developed nations.
Mm-hmm.
I see that fight coming closer and closer and being entertained on our very soil in Guyana as it is right now. We need to be very careful with the way
Yep.
in which we operate
Yep.
as a developing country.
Yep.
We need to be, and when you talk about transparency, and that statement that is being made, that's what people is ask. That's what everyone wants. You want the accountability aspect, you want transparency, the good governance aspect, so that everyone will have this level playing
Correct.
field, so that
Correct.
when the way in which contracts and so forth, the procurement process altogether is safeguarded in that way. And persons don't want to see videos of a sitting vice president in his living room conducting business.
He has no business conducting.
Exactly. We said it yesterday.
That he has no
that
business
the
conducting.
portfolio of the office doesn't give you any leeway to do anything like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
So this is a very, very serious matter, and we cannot just believe that it's isolated to
Yeah.
what goes on the ground here in Guyana and as it pertains to Guyanese
Yeah.
alone in
Yeah.
isolation. It is not like that. It is extremely serious, and I'm picking my words very carefully this morning with this particular matter. But let us track all the comments that have been coming out thus far since last year. Let us track the comments, everything that led up to the investigation being done and all of that. And you will realize that the eyes of the world, as we know, it's on Guyana. And the way in
Yeah.
which the administration, the PPP administration is used to doing business, it cannot be done like that anymore. It should not be done like that anymore, because they are used to doing it prior to all of this attention
Yeah.
being placed.
They're not
on
ready
our
for the social
country.
media world.
They're
And
not-
you know
they're
who's
not
been
ready for the
tracking?
information age.
You know who's been tracking the comments, as you said? Loop Caribbean, they've been tracking the comments.
Loop is a different
In addition to
level right
that,
now.
in addition to that, Starbucks News editorial this morning, Starbucks News dedicated the editorial to this issue, the Vice News program. And Starbucks News editorial had some interesting things to tell us. You know,
Starbucks News always have interesting
Starbucks
things
News
for us.
editorial this morning reads thus: a major problem for the president, President Ali, is the perception that Mr. Jagdeo is the channel through which all decisions are made. The eminence, Greece. The major channels through which all decisions are made. This on its own creates forces that gravitate in the direction of the vice president. This on its own creates forces that gravitate in the direction of the vice president. Mr. Jagdeo is the undisputed oil and gas czar, and also appears to have potentiary powers in addressing matters far and wide, and those coming under various ministerial portfolios. He's talking about everything. He's making decisions on everything. That's what Starbucks News is telling us. And finally, Starbucks News says in its editorial titled The Vice News Program, that must come to an end for ordered governance to prevail and for the president to be seen as the person in charge of decision making in the administration. That must come to an end. Jagdeo talking and making decisions on everything. That must come to an end. Starbucks News. For ordered governance to prevail and for the president to be seen in charge of decision making in the administration. Starbucks News.
And and it's interesting as that is, persons need to remember also that the portfolio of the president, the office of the president, that seat of the president again is an executive seat.
Yeah.
Right? A person with executive power. And the very fact is, at the international, local and international level, that the office holder is not seen as being in charge.
Yeah.
of the country. That is not, we're not just saying it. This is the fact. This is the fact. This is the fact locally. This is the fact internationally. Persons believe that if they want to get something done in Guyana, Guyanese, they need to go through the
Yeah.
VP. And persons at the international level believe that if they want to get something done, they have to go through the VP. And I spoke about a little bit yesterday the power struggle within the administration, as is, within the party, rather the power struggle within the party. And I'm telling people, absolute power, as people say, absolute power corrupts at some point in all of that. But as we are seeing it unfolding right now, you are seeing a very clear line of division within the PPP
Yeah.
party.
Yeah.
And let us not ignore it. Let us not ignore it. It is a big problem that is coming up. And this tug war that is about to start, a whole lot of more revelations are going to be coming to the front, because they are tremendously divided as we are speaking right now. There are persons that believe that they should be in the office of that seat of the president of the country, and then we have a person that's not even in the seat, that is
Yeah.
controlling
And I'll
the
certainly
affairs of
believe so.
everything.
I brighter than Nathan. I smarter than Nathan. Right? I got Nathan with it. I got more votes than Nathan internal party election. Why Nathan is president? And then the Nathan must believe at some point, on my own, I might make a couple mistakes, but I wouldn't gotta be looking so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't gotta be looking so at all. At some point, he gotta start to
And
believe that.
and as a person, as a human being, he has to get to a point in which he knows that he is not in control, and that must bother him.
But that is the
and
reality
even
of
if
it.
it wasn't bothering him, even if it wasn't bothering him naturally, the people that surrounds him is going to keep beating that in his head, that you are the president, why you can't make a decision, why you
I
gotta
could
go
imagine.
check,
I could imagine
why you gotta go
Arya
check,
saying that
why you gotta go check
every
with
night in his
somebody else
ears.
and all of that,
Irfan, now's your time. I can see Arya saying
this
that. Now's your time.
issue is just, I think this issue is just a scratch on the surface. It's an eye opener, and it is excellent that it came from an independent international news agency.
Yeah.
To bring those.
Well,
facts
excellent
that
for you,
we
but
know,
clearly
right?
not for the Chinese embassy here, who was in a statement said that she can see this as the work. Vice News came, well, comments attributed to the Chinese ambassador through the Chronicle, saying that the Vice News came with an agenda. So clearly,
Well, I didn't expect a different comment. I didn't expect a different comment coming from there, and I understand why that comment came, and that's why I was explaining a little bit earlier that level of geopolitics there between those two nations, and I expected no other comment coming from that. So that is to the book, to the script. I was expected diplomatic circles. Yes, we get that, but I want to say that is just surface when it comes to corruption.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I can't say I get it because what are you proffering to us to say Vice News came with an agenda? I see three gentlemen sitting in a room making deals.
Yeah. Well,
Vice News and no Vice News, clearly, if you read Sabbath News editorial, says clearly Sue is an influence peddler. And the mere fact he got somebody in the door says that he, whatever he sells to them as an influence peddler, he has influence and cachet with the vice president.
Correct.
Right? So I don't understand what the Chinese, what agenda is there? I don't allow anybody and everybody to walk through my front door. You might meet me at the office because I'm a public figure.
But they're not speaking about.
Me?
But they're not speaking about him. They're not speaking about him. And I want to clarify: the Chinese are defending Chinese businesses in Guyana and the way in which Chinese businesses conduct business in Guyana. And I believe that it was even I don't have the report before me right now, but I know it was being reported that the decades long of partnership between China and Guyana and the maximum that trade has gone. Trade between these two countries have grown and all of that. So the Chinese is not defending Barajagdio. The Chinese is defending their businesses that conduct business in Guyana. That's why I said I expected it at any other, because any embassy that have businessmen coming in, that have businessmen from their country doing a magnitude of business in the country, is going to come out and give a defense. So that's why I said I expected that. The issue that Vice News is bringing up, when it looked at Guyana, and I know that they highlighted the Chinese companies that are associated with the VP. That was their highlight. But I am saying that as a tip of the iceberg when it comes to the overarching corruption. Everything is done in a corrupt manner in this country. Yeah. Every single thing.
Yeah.
right? Every single thing is done in a corrupt
Yeah.
manner in this country. And people know that, and that's why it's been highlighted. That's why they're talking about transparency. They know that if anything is done through a transparent process, the companies that are receiving contracts and so right now would not be, more than likely, I don't want to say will not be, more than likely
Processing
will not
fees,
be the ones that are benefiting on a level
consultancy fees.
playing field.
But you know, some of the comments from Loop Caribbean are interesting. I hope we can find our way to maybe a couple of them. The comments that Loop Caribbean was tracking in the wake of this, because we're dealing with the fallout now. We're dealing with the fallout, and you can see a lot of strange things happening. Y'all got buckle yourself in. You can see a couple very, very strange things happening if we can track that. The comments from the Loop Caribbean. Some folks, they captured some of the comments that people made in the wake of this, and quite some of them are quite startling. Some of them are quite startling, and as we said, you know, this isn't over by a long shot. There's the geopolitical aspect of it that's playing out. You see the statement from the U.S. Embassy. You see the statement coming out from the Chinese ambassador, Chinese embassy, and you can see a lot more of that. And then you can see some local things happening too. You know, you can see some local things happening. Right, Judah?
Yeah, well, speaking about some of the comments that have been captured, I know I want to give some credit to Loop because they have been following. The article clearly shows that they have been following what has been going on locally, and they're trying to put it in context and bring everything together. But one of the comments that I saw, they said, as it's quoting here, it said, "What else we expect him to say? That he take bribe? Come on, no one."
This is the vice president we're talking
This
about.
is a VP. No one in his sense would say they take bribe. We know bribe. We know he does. One man was saying at that point in time, you know, persons are online, as you would see, persons like yourself. And what Loop did was go online under the various postings and to make sure that they captured some of those comments that was coming in, some in defense of, and some basically saying, well, this doesn't make sense. Why are you even trying to defend a situation that's as clear as day? And that is what Loop was trying to do. But one of the things I think Loop was Loop was quoting even the VP in some aspects of that conversation there with Vice Media. And the VP was being quoted here, guys, as you would have listened to the tape and heard for yourself. I have a problem with the indices, and this was basically saying when Isabel Young was pointing to the fact that Guyana had dropped 2 points on the the Transparency International Corruption Index, and the VP basically was commenting to say, I have a problem with the indices. You know, he said, and I quote, "This looks like a blackness index. The darker you are, the lower you are on the index." And Luke found that, you know, very out of the way for him to be attacking. And I want to specifically speak about this because whenever any study is done and the results are released to the public, once it is not in their favor, they attack basically the messenger. When they cannot find the message, they go to the messenger, and this is what he was doing there. Oh, the indices are not correct. Whatever measurement they're using not correct. And we remember even Gail Teixeira went down that route the other day with the IRI and the poll that came out from there. Oh, they weren't looking at it properly. The study wasn't done in a correct manner, and these are the way in which that they actually go out and defend themselves at every point in time.
Sad to say, these are the issues that we're grappling with. At this hour, the fallout continues and will fall out. We'll continue to look and to monitor how our regional partners and international partners, the posture that they take, that's the geopolitical aspect of it. And then we will continue as well to monitor what happens locally. And we said it here yesterday morning, we expected to see, you know, the chambers, you can see them lining up just the way you see ministers lining up. Well, if this gentleman was responsible for my job and me sitting where I am, I think I might write a letter stating that, yes, he's a good man, you know, he's a good man. Sue said it, he hands clean, right? But in the same breath, Sue saying, he won't take that, he's the one handling. He handled that in that respect. Yeah, he's the one who handles everything. And Jack Dio confirmed that. He says, Sue, he has always support. The tenant, you know, the tenant.
Another one of the comments has been captured here by Luke. You know, it's in one woman posted that I don't want to hear from Jack Dio. I want to hear from the president himself.
Yes.
Jack Dio had his time. Air Finale is the president, so Jack Dio needs to take a back seat.
Yeah.
Right. Very, very interesting to see the way in which persons are thinking right now.
And Air Fund stance will tell us whether corruption is accepted in this government
Well,
or
yeah,
not.
I want
We already have a pretty good sense, but
we want I can make my final point by saying that a lot of people saw Irfan's comment as being in defense of Barajagi, but I have my own. I
you gotta
have
see the
my
whole. You gotta see. He said he has to see the whole interview.
right.
If not,
A lot of persons is trying to see that as his defense. I don't see it as that. I see Irfan begging for more ammunition.
You think so?
I see it as Irfan begging for more ammunition against Barjagyo. Irfan said he just don't want this piece. He want the entire piece of.
He's going for a knockout punch.
He's going for the knockout punch. He wants when he says park, you park. Listen, I've been telling you, he has been flexing his muscles a little bit.
We see this movie before, we have a Ramatar somewhere doing something who, it says we see this movie before. This is part 2.
This is part. I've read this book before, basically, right?
You see this movie before. So if he looking for evidence, he gotta know what he's doing.
Well, we'll be looking at that, and we'll continue to cover. We will continue to cover. What is wrong with my word this morning?
I don't know. You tell us.
We will continue to cover the divide, the divide that is clear within the PPP right about now. The power struggle, the growing power struggle within the PPP administration, and the way in which it would be unveiling different levels of corruption within the administration, because they know how each other operate, and when they are fighting among each other, they will start to expose the corruption of each other. So we'll continue to look at it and more international, but I expect to see more international focus being brought, especially when it comes to this. And I know right now that nobody is comfortable there. Nobody in the PPP, no office holder within the PPP is comfortable at this point, because they're going to be thinking that everybody that requests a meeting is coming on as a spy. In disguise and all of that. So let us see how that moves forward.
Yep. That's our time, folks. That's our time. We can't do these programs without you, folks. We can't. And if we're to admit we're in a little red, we're concerned with meeting our responsibilities. And that's why we ask you guys for your support, and we feel it. And we want to invite more of you to support the work we do here. It'd be nice if we could come on and we don't have to pay for the lights. We don't have to pay for the internet. We had a big brother like Sue, who has all the support and can get things done for us. But that isn't the case on this side. And we have to work hard, and we got to chip in to pay for lights and the internet, and the people who helped us to put this information together and to put these programs on as well, and to keep them going, folks. It costs a tidy penny, and we need your help. We got several platforms available by which you guys can contribute. We got Zelle and PayPal. We got Cash App. We also have MMG. That number for MMG is 627-6963. It's also our WhatsApp number if you guys need any guidance. We're available via MoneyGram, and we're available via Western Union as well. And we invite you guys to support the program, contribute to the program, so that we can keep on doing what we've been doing.
And that is correct. I see Ganesh Maipol. I have to give him a shout out there in the comment section. He's always in the comments, never on the show. And so
we got ringy neck, as we say. We got ringy neck.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. As Sherry said, continue to partner with us so that we can stay on air. If you don't see us here next week, know that you haven't been doing your job at partnering. So we continue to ask for your continued support throughout. Be sure to join us below the belt at 12 and then 8 p.m. this evening in the ring.
Yep. That's our time, folks.
Have a great day.
That's our time.
Bye.
Stay safe.